Doctor, fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
We can get your car in and done maybe next week.
Next week?
Is this what you hear when you call your shop? Hi, this is Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. We know you've got places to go, things to do, and people to see. That's why Fix It Forward promises to get your vehicle in quickly, the repairs done properly, and you safely back out on the road. Our speed of service is the service that you deserve. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. I want to thank you for joining us on this increasingly sunny afternoon after a little bit of fog and mist, drizzle this morning. Skies have cleared out most areas. Still a little cloudy in Lakes Country, but you will see some improving conditions as we head into the afternoon. So that's good news there. And the weather does go downhill, though, as we head into this upcoming end of the week, as much colder weather comes our way. Coldest air of the season, but it doesn't look like it'll last too long. So that's good news right there.
We want the cold.
Yeah. Joining us is that voice, Justin Storm, Wonder Boy meteorologist, and our wonderful, talented ag director, Bridgette Readel. And guys, are you? I understand you were out in the field today. Justin, you were in the grain cart, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Indeed, yes.
And Bridgette, what were you partaking in out there besides shenanigans?
Well, as you can see, I came directly from the farm because I was part of the crew that hauled the beans to the elevator in the truck. So, yeah, it's been a busy day. It's been a little chilly out, so you can see I'm dressed for warmer weather. And I'm not far from Castleton. I hear their emergency management system siren going off, so I apologize for the background noise right now that's kind of happening back there.
I thought you had some nice music jamming in the background there or something.
I thought you had music going, too, and that's nothing compared to what's going to happen in a little more than 12 minutes from now.
That's exactly what I'm understanding, yes. So when I heard that starting off, I thought, fun things, right? There we go.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Indeed.
So, yeah, it's been a good day. I mean, like you said, we had a little rain overnight. I had about a quarter inch at my house. How's everybody else doing?
I got about 0.44 at my house.
Right.
Grand Forks.
Yeah, we had about 1400s here at the studio. I believe they had 0.3 of an inch in Moorhead. But areas out in Lakes Country, areas around Perham, they received about $1.30. Pelican Rapids received just under an inch. So the rain was much heavier in Lakes Country, which, again, that'll probably delay any harvest going on out there. But we didn't. Now, were the fields a little wet this morning when you guys were out there, Bridgette?
Things are kind of tacky right there at the home farm near Prosper. That was where it was probably only a tenth, a little bit more, but our field in particular had more like a third. So things are a little bit tacky. I don't think we're going to see many combines going today anymore because it's been unless the sunshine and wind will help, but I think a lot of folks found that this is a good fix and repair day to keep going further.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what you did.
You need one of those once in a while.
Well, I don't know what Dean did, but when I got to the Uland farm today, they were changing filters because they were having a little transmission trouble. So there's Dean hot rodding around in the combine as usual.
Well,
and Jim regretting letting Dean drive the combine.
I asked Jim. I said, what's normal speed when you're out here combine? And he's like, we like to go between about 4 and 5 miles an hour. So I jacked it up to 15 just to see how good we can do. I mean, I didn't mean to, plug anything up in there, but sorry if that happened. Yeah.
We will have to explain how all that works later. Right. Yes.
That was fun yesterday. I will say that. But boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what, my allergies after going out there. Oh man.
Were you a little stuffy there, Dean?
It was a little more than a little. And so
could you breathe?
What's that?
You're still here. I guess you could.
Yeah. So Bridgette. Okay, Bridgette,
Yes.
you're going to get a kick out of this. You never
I
know.
can't wait.
You never know what you're going to find in a cornfield, right? Or bean field.
That's true.
Or bean field, right? So we drove out when we were out there filming yesterday. Drove out into the field and where it was already combine, and just obviously had to get the car washed when I got back home, inside and out. So I bring it back to the station, and after work, after I'm done, I go out in the parking lot, and my left rear tire is about flat. I said, "Oh man." So I looked in there, and what was jammed in my tire?
Pit viper.
Corn stalk.
A little black farm animal that was a pig.
So you're saying you found my Fisher Price barn pig? He showed up again?
He was cut in half. No, it was a little arrowhead rock. It was actually a little arrowhead rock that, like, I don't know how, but it went right through the tire. So thanks to Dave's Tire out in West Fargo for fixing that baby. I limped in there for them to fix it.
So, Dean, maybe we should do a show where we talk about buying higher ply tires. Like I went and changed out and put like 8 plies on my pickup because I'm in and out of fields. Right now, I am in a fall tillage soybean field. And yes, sometimes things happen. In fact, in a conversation with some crop consultants this morning, they said soybean residue is the worst as far as wearing on tires because you don't think about it.
Right.
Meanwhile, corn and sunflower stalks, you're paying more attention, and that's what will not only jam a hole in a tire, but if it's up high enough, you can puncture a radiator.
Well, I would imagine. Oh man,
be careful.
Well, I was out there a couple of weeks ago with Michael, Jim's son. We were taking moisture samples on the beans. By the way, if you want to watch any of these videos, head over to the Facebook or the YouTube page, Weather and Ag in Focus, and we have a little playlist called Here We Grow. I think there's like 22 or 23 episodes out so far. Got about 4 or 5 more, I think, to launch. But we were talking about, I can't remember if it was the bean, I think it was corn stalks or something after harvest that sometimes will actually go through your shoe if you step on it the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why we do things like go to Red Wing Shoes on Main Avenue. I was
just going to say the same thing.
and she's also, Teresa does a fabulous job of also sponsoring our phone line at 701-293-9000, where you can reach us at any time because Red Wing Shoes, there's a reason why we buy good quality work boots when we're out in the field. I've got mine on. I would show you them, but I'm going to have to open up like the door and somehow figure out how to balance my foot on my steering wheel. And frankly, I haven't done that much yoga, so I can't. I mean, I was in and out of a truck this morning, but I don't think I can handle the rest of that right now. Just saying.
Oh man,
those Red Wing boots too. There's something else. They'll last you for years if you get a nice pair of them. I mean, they last for years. Before I got my new pair this year, I had them, I think 9 years I had my other pair for. So they were worn and beat up, but they were still holding strong.
Yeah, I take them down hiking in Arizona, so I'll be taking them down next week in case I run across any scorpions. Don't want to, I want something sturdy to step on those babies and crush them.
Yeah.
So, Justin, as we talk about, all the important things that we have out in the field, one that I'm not sure you're quite ready to talk about yet because your grain cart video isn't going to be out for a little bit yet. And
it'll be a couple of weeks before we launch that one.
Yeah, Dean's combining, Justin's in the grain cart, I'm in the truck. And so Raven Technologies has something called cart automation. And this is a planned effort to coordinate the unloading between the grain cart and the combine and even up to the truck. So literally, you can be the operator and you can call for the grain cart autonomously to come to you. So if you're in the combine and Justin's not there to drive the cart for you, you can get the grain cart to come to you. Then it has the ability to nudge the cart. So that means you can move it 15 inches forward or back to keep it in line so you don't bump the header. And you can also move it about 60 inches or 5 feet closer or away from your combine so you don't do damage to any of your equipment. But it's a pretty cool synchronization really helps to speed up the harvest. And we know that labor is a problem for many of our growers. So finding enough people might not be so easy. Here's one way that Raven Technologies is helping to overcome that is with this new auto sync or grain cart sync.
Isn't that great? Jim was using that, I believe. We were talking about that, and it's. I said, boy, everything's so seamless. I mean, everything works so smoothly. He said, well, yeah, most of the time, you know.
That's when you look over at Jim, you go, nudge, nudge. Yeah, farming pretty hard, isn't it?
Yeah. I wouldn't dare say that.
It's fun to say those things, but I don't see any one of us going to the bank with any of our farmers to say, sounds like it was pretty easy.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
We don't do that part.
Oh,
but
man.
there was a lot of activity even after our field was, combined. Now I saw that the local agronomy center was out and they were already soil sampling the fields. So they're ready to get a picture on what those fields will be next year. I think they'll likely be corn, but they're also just planning for what are going to be supplementary things that need to be done as far as fertilizer or micronutrients. So this farming thing never ends. We're already looking ahead to 2024.
And this weekend is basically Christmas for Justin and I, as our new LRC brand new cycle will start up this weekend. If you want to know more about what we're talking about in terms of the LRC and this new cycle starting, log on to our Facebook page, Weather and Ag in Focus, and I put an article on there from Gary today. It's only for paid customers, but this is a link to what the paid customers actually get on a weekly basis from Gary. So, or bi-weekly basis, sorry. That explains what the LRC and how it's expected to pan out and how it all works and everything. So again, log on to our Facebook page, Weather and Ag in Focus, and kind of get a little taste on what's to come here. But I don't know, I'm not liking the signs of it, Justin, but that's just me. We'll see how it pans out the next couple of weeks here in October.
I happen
that
to
can't
like
be good,
it.
guys.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I don't. Well, Bridgette, we have a special guest coming up, don't we, here in about 4 or 5 minutes?
Well, actually, we have two. And we have Gene Henning, who is the Executive Director for North Dakota Corn Utilization Council, and then Heidie Haugo. Heidie also works with the Corn Council, and the whole reason that they came to join us today is not only talk about corn, but also Common Ground. And what is that organization and what does it do here in the state of North Dakota? Corn Utilization Council has a lot to do with that opportunity, and we want to share more. So we're going to do that when we come back. Stay tuned for our discussion with them.
Livestock market is higher. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risvet with this market update. The live cattle complex is trading higher after the market was sent tumbling lower yesterday. The spot December contract is trading below its 40-day moving average, but the market continues to trade above its 100-day moving average. And so long as beef demand doesn't show much more softness and cash prices maintain their trend of trading just $1 to $2 lower this week, it's likely that the market's long-term fundamental outlook could keep the complex from dropping below its 100-day moving average. Now, there's a single bid being offered in Texas at 182, but at this point, feedlots don't seem overly worried about marketing any more cattle just yet. There was some business that took place yesterday afternoon in the south at 182, which is $1 softer than last week's weighted average, and some light northern trade developed at 183, which is also just $1 lower than last week's average. Asking price in the south are noted at 183 plus, and in the north at 290 plus. Box beef prices are lower. Choice down 211 and select down 60 with a movement of 100 loads. Now, both the feeders and lean hogs were trading lower earlier today. However, they have moved up into green. Yesterday's spike in the number of available job openings in the U.S. still isn't sitting well with the feeder cattle complex, as that will likely ensure that interest rates are increased later this month. And as for lean hogs, both the February 2024 and April 2024 contracts are also trading higher, as traders believe that supplies could be tighter at that point. We're going to look at the livestock numbers. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I want to share with you the experience of Donna in Washington. She writes, I got injured about 5 years ago. I was let go when, because of the injury, I couldn't keep up with my schedule. I've tried to find other work, but I'm 68 now. No one wants to hire someone that old. This week is tough, though, because I had to get my tooth fixed. So I only have $10 in my checking account. but it will be okay. I at least have food because of this pantry. Millions of people face hunger, some every day, just like Donna. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Let's get a look at the livestock numbers. Live cattle October up 40 at 182.52. December up 42 at 186.07. February up a dime at 190.40. And the April live cattle, they're up 2 pennies at 193.50. Feeders October up 12 at 248.72. November up 47 at 250.82. Lean hogs October up 17 at 80.15. December up 30 at 69.37. And the February lean hogs, they're up 40 at 73.12. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
It's the Coffee Club with Janae and Ronnie.
Now, I was going to go out on a limb because I saw this on the Big Bang Theory television show.
What was your guess?
A dickie. You know the little fake like you're wearing a turtleneck thing.
I know.
Yeah.
Because every time I see a dickie or I hear the word dickie, I think of.
And plus,
what do you think of?
And plus, it's a funny word.
The Coffee Club, weekdays 8:30 to 11 on AM 970 and 93.1 FM WDAY. They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
And you can tell when somebody lifts weights. I mean, I look at you and I look at Jace. Do you guys look at me and say she lifts weights or not? I see the way you guys are looking at me. I do.
I look at you, and there's a glow of beauty.
Yes, I love it.
I don't.
But you know what I mean. You can tell when somebody lifts weights because you're broader and you've got muscle tone.
Yeah, I guess
I'm giving you two a compliment. Can I not get one back?
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
I forgot to tell our guests in studio, Bridgette, that we have a screaming goat that often joins us.
You know what? At least the goat is here in good fun, and it's not because we're holding it under the desk or anything like that, right?
This is true.
we wouldn't have anything odd going on during this show. I'm sure not.
Oh no.
It's a day per usual. I'm in a field somewhere. You're in studio, and Justin is in a black hole. So it's actually quite perfect. This is how our show runs.
I like to consider it a void.
Oh, even better. Well, I would tell you that there was no void in sponsorships this year for our Here We Grow project. And again, we are just on the cusp of, after having harvested, taking our beans into the elevator, finding out what our yield was, and being able to share that with everyone, as well as our profits going forward to the Great Plains Food Bank. And we want to say thank you to Dakota Bank. Dakota Bank is new in the region, but they have been a large ag lender for quite some time across the Dakotas. And also Dakota Insurance. They've been doing a fantastic job of supporting us and farmers in our region in many ways. And also to North Dakota State Services, thank you to them, because farm transition planning is one of the biggest stressors on farm right now. And we want to make sure that there are lots of options for farmers to go to, as well as anybody else who wants to continue their transition planning for the next generation. Well, the next generation, well, it's kind of what our topic's going to be today. We have joining us Jean Henning. She is with North Dakota Corn Utilization Council. We also have Heidie Haugo with Common Ground. Ladies, thank you for joining us in studio. I'm sorry, I'm not quite there today.
Thanks for having us, Bridgette.
Well, I'm really glad you're all there, because now everybody's got enough mics and headsets to go around. So this is actually quite perfect. All right, Jean, let's start with the Corn Utilization Council. Tell me more, because we have listeners who might not have any idea what you do.
Very true. Yeah. So the North Dakota Corn Utilization Council is a board written into state law. It's a board of 7 farmers that administer the corn checkoff in North Dakota. And so we focus on research, education, promotion, market development. We do exports. We do a lot of research at North Dakota State University, trying to solve problems that are on field, as well as trying to create new uses for corn. We're active in the ethanol industry with promotions, working with the North Dakota Ethanol Council, and we also work on exports. And so those are our main focuses. We do a number of education programs, and that's where Common Ground North Dakota comes into play.
And Jean,
All right.
Jean, tell us a little bit more about what is Common Ground North Dakota.
So Common Ground North Dakota has spun off of our national program, which is Common Ground. It's from the National Corn Growers Association. And that program started, probably 12 years ago already, 14 years ago, something like that. And each of the states then has formed their own state chapter. And really Common Ground North Dakota specifically is about North Dakota farmers linking and sharing their common experience with consumers, consumers that are buying food, consumers that are buying fuel, and really we're all consumers. And so it's just trying to find that link and helping, first of all, helping agriculture, helping farmers tell their story, because we know that if farmers don't tell their story, that someone's going to tell it for them. And so part of it is to get farmers to tell their story and to talk about what they do on farm, because there's so many myths. And so that really is where Common Ground came from. There's myths about, GMOs and pesticide use and all of the things that that farmers have a story to tell on all of those topics. And so that's really where Common Ground came from. So it spun out of our national organization. We have a state organization here that the North Dakota Corn Utilization Council has sponsored and has kept it going here in the state. So the state program has been around for about 10 years. Formerly, we did a program called Banquet in the Field. I think a lot of people know Common Ground North Dakota as the Banquet in the Field organization. We decided years ago that, first of all, we don't have a lot of manpower. We're a small staff. There's only 3 of us at the North Dakota Corn Utilization Council. And so trying to put on an event like that was just very labor intensive. And it also wasn't reaching who we wanted to reach. It focused on influencers. And really, we decided a while back that we could get more reach by having podcasts and doing more online activity, as well as some of those activities that are, out in different communities. That's all a part of the program. And so we're just kind of kicking it off and trying to get, people to pay attention to the podcasts and get more volunteers involved, get more farmers involved, because like I said, if they don't tell their story, someone's going to tell it for us. And so that's really what Common Ground North Dakota is. And currently we have podcasts, many volunteers, especially Bridgette is a volunteer, which we greatly appreciate. And like, for instance, Marcia Murphy from Cows & Co. Creamery up in Carrington with a wonderful story to tell about how she's brought, value-added ag back to her dairy and her farm, and just such a great story to tell.
And there are, I think the biggest point that there are a lot of stories to be told, but they should be done in the way that is most positive in light for the farmer. So Heidie, I'm going to switch to you and just say, tell me more about your role with Common Ground and how it's moving forward.
Absolutely, yeah. So like you said, my name is Heidie Haugo. I'm actually the communications director at the North Dakota Corn Utilization Council. And when this program came back to the Corn Utilization Council a year ago this spring, there was a national rebrand happening. So this program has gone through a lot of iterations over the last 12 or 14 years, like Jean mentioned, and they were really looking to reestablish what this program meant nationally and how they were connecting with consumers. So when this program started, I think they were really focused on moms and those who are making the buying decisions at the grocery store. They were talking, like she said, about that myths around GMOs, pesticide use, helping to read labels and to dispel some of that confusion around labels like organic or non-conventionally farmed and those things. And we just realized that, it's not those people who are making those buying decisions are shifting. So Common Ground North Dakota really wanted to take this opportunity for this rebrand to also expand our audience. And that is where we got a little bit more involved. This program came back into the Corn Utilization Council office. We were actually able to expand some of our work with advisory teams, which, like Jean mentioned, Bridgette sits on, and to just reestablish the mission and the goals of this program. So I work closely with some of the folks who are our external assistants at 10 Acre Marketing. We work with the folks who are identifying who our guests on the podcast should be. We have some folks who are helping us to establish that online presence through Facebook and Instagram and also TikTok. Shout out to Jonna Lee. She works for 10 Acre Marketing, and she does a really great job on TikTok for us, which is where our audience really is. And just helping to establish some of those audiences digitally, like Jean said, that you can reach people so much easier that way. The content is really accessible. You can always come back to it. We find that people are really sharing it. Some of those TikTok videos, for example, or the podcast snippets have gone viral even, and we're really getting the news out about not only agriculture and the diversity in agriculture, but North Dakota agriculture nationwide even.
And I've got one question either for Jean or Heidie here. So obviously you wanted to dispel or displace as much of these, I'll call them farm myths, as Jean was saying, whether it's pesticides, GMO. Once these start, social media or however they start, they tend to go viral. What's the biggest myth that you're having trouble putting by? I mean, to prove to people, this is not true. Which is the biggest one?
There's so many.
I know.
I would, for corn, I would say, GMOs, it's impacting our export markets. The science behind GMOs is there. GMOs are safe. But we are consistently and constantly having to tell local consumers, export customers, there's fear and fear that is displaced. And so, what I can compare this to is that there's so many people that want to buy local. If I go to the farmer's market here in Fargo, people look at the farmers that are producing that food and they trust them. They trust them because they want to buy their carrots. They want to buy their tomatoes from them. And so what I think is that there's this need to buy local because people trust them. And farmers, agriculture in general, whether you grow corn or soybeans or wheat or sunflowers, you're just doing it. You're in agriculture, but your market is different. You're selling to an elevator. In our case, you're selling to an ethanol plant. But they're the same people. They're the same people that you see at the farmer's market. They're the same people you see out on their farm. Where Bridgette's at today in her pickup, she's a farmer, and they're the same people. And that is the message that we're trying to get people to understand, that these are not corporations. These are not, evil people that are trying to take every dollar out of their farm. These are farmers that you can trust, families that are trying to preserve the land for the next generation. And so, all of that goes together. I mean, it's just, there's a fear. And so I can't point to any one issue. I would just say a generalized fear of agriculture and of farmers. And I hear it. I hear it from family members. I hear it from strangers. I hear it all the time, and kind of giving farmers a bad name. And really, all of it is agriculture, whether it's the farmers at the farmer's market or your local meat processing that is bringing in their own cattle or their own, hogs for pork or for beef, because people like to buy their beef locally. or it's your farmers that are selling their corn to the ethanol plant or to an elevator or to their soybeans to an elevator. They're the same people. And so that's kind of my general feel on what the biggest problem is.
Right. And I've got a question, and we'll answer it. We've got to take a quick break, but my question was, and we'll answer this on the other side of the break, is there a specific organization that's more responsible than others for spreading these farm myths? So think about that. We'll have that answer for you coming up.
Oh.
What? Did you want to say something, Bridgette? I think Bridgette froze.
No.
Okay.
But I'll hold back.
Yeah, Bridgette. All right.
She's lagging.
Yeah. So we will have that answer and more. If you have any questions for us, give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes hotline, 701-293-9000. We'll be right back.
Farmers, when you get stuck in the field, make the call to Oaks Truck and Trailer. Pulling equipment out of the field can be dangerous. Why not leave it to the pros so you don't get hurt and your equipment doesn't get damaged? With 40 years of experience, Oaks Truck and Trailer is trusted far and wide when it comes to large equipment, diagnostics, analytics, and repairing farm equipment. Next time you find yourself stuck in the mud, call Oaks Truck and Trailer. Online at oakstruckandtrailer.com.
Hey, it's Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. Join me, Justin Storm, and Ag Director Bridgette Readel throughout the summer as we attempt to grow a crop of soybeans. We're calling it Here We Grow, and we'll be documenting what it takes to farm in the Red River Valley and beyond. Look for new videos every Friday on WDAYRadioNow.com, our YouTube channel, and social media pages. Here We Grow is brought to you in part by Ellingson Drainage, Gowan Company, and WDAY Radio.
Let the Goose River Bank become your community bank. They believe a strong bank builds strong communities and would be proud to be your bank.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. School resource officers will return to Moorhead schools on Friday. Officers were pulled from campuses in August following the enactment of a new state law, which restricts the types of physical restraints officers and school staff are allowed to use on students. After further clarification by the Attorney General's office and additional legal counsel, police and school leaders jointly agreed that SROs can return to Moorhead schools. A Moorhead man is facing DUI charges following a crash involving a semi-truck in Fargo. The Highway Patrol says the wreck happened Tuesday when Aaron Hallstad tried to pass a semi-truck while driving his car on I-94. He crashed into the semi, causing both vehicles to veer into a ditch. Both drivers were wearing seatbelts and weren't injured. Investigators say Hallstad was under the influence. And a Fargo-based nonprofit has donated thousands of dollars to the Fargo Police Department. The check was presented to the department by Lend a Hand Up. The group raised more than $42,000 in cash, checks, online donations, and the sale of wristbands. We're told the money is being used to benefit the family members and officers impacted by the July 14th shooting that killed Officer Jake Willeen. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Attention all growers and ag retailers. Tired of losing the war against wild oats? It's time to bring in the big guns. Avadex and Fargo herbicides from Gowan, USA. These Group 15 herbicides are your ticket to controlling Group 1 and Group 2 resistant wild oats and suppressing brome and ryegrass. Don't let these weeds invade your field. Take charge. Contact your local ag retailer today and get your hands on Avadex and Fargo. Go. Always read and follow label directions from Gowan, USA.
You can always count on Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Always crisp, always easy drinking, always just right. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment since 1903. Welcome to the High Life. '19 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
Dr. Jeff and the team at Designer Smiles provide same-day crowns. That's right. No more hassles with multiple appointments to fit your crowns, and they beautifully blend your dental crown with your teeth. Dr. Jeff uses the newest technology available to provide you with quick and accurate same-day crowns so you don't have to spend any more time in dentist chairs than you need to. Same-day crowns will help you achieve a fuller, healthier smile. Find out more at FargoDentalCare.com. FargoDentalCare.com or call for a consult today, 298-9400.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus, and we are so glad to have guests joining us today, and that would be Gene and Heidie, who are with the North Dakota Corn Utilization Council, and we're talking about Common Ground and the work that Common Ground does as a program across the U.S., but especially in North Dakota, with solid promotion of agriculture, all of the benefits. And Dean, you asked a question just a few moments ago. Do you want to restate your question before I jump on my soapbox?
I can't wait.
Step stool out?
Absolutely. So one of the themes for Common Ground is to dispel these farm myths about whether it be pesticides, GMO, etc. And my question was, is there any specific organization or group that starts these myths? And how hard is it to squash these myths?
So I don't know that we can target any specific group, but I think we can start with a couple of ideas. Number one, each one of us does it every time we jump onto Facebook and we don't have enough information, but we speak out of fear or emotion. When we don't go out and look for fact, then we just promote ill-advised ideas. And we all can do that. It's the same way that I tell you I have no idea in hockey who crossed the blue line to get the home run and was there a personal foul involved.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Good point. Good
That
analogy.
was pretty good. That was better than a few months ago, Bridgette.
Yeah.
You're stepping it up.
I'm really getting my sports analogies down. I can't wait till the primetime sports guys need me to fill in because I'll get it all wrong. And that's what happens every single day. Now, I can name several animal activist groups by name, and I am happy to.
Please do.
Because they tell a very different perspective for their story, whether it's HSUS or ACPCA or any of the others that play on your emotions and say, we're here to save the animals, when what they're really trying to do is shut down large animal agriculture because they are using fear and myth. And so when I look at those types of things, that's where I think the biggest hindrances come from. And Gene and Heidie, I'm not sure if you want to jump in on that or not. I'll step down now for a moment.
I completely agree with you, Bridgette. That was an excellent answer.
Yeah, I think that what is so great about the Common Ground program, and specifically this podcast too, opportunity, is it's giving an opportunity for folks to tune in and hear directly from the source. So these women and these men that we have on this podcast are talking about their farm and what is happening directly on their farm. So we're not trying to paint broad strokes about what agriculture is even in Missouri or Kansas, but right here at home on these farms. And it's giving folks an opportunity to ask questions. They can call in and they can hear straight from the source. So we're really, we're combating some of these myths by being proactive. Common Ground is a very proactive way to share those stories and just to get the truth out there.
Well, that raises another question there, Heidie. How long has the Common Grounds podcast been going on, and where can someone go to watch it or see past episodes?
Great question. So the podcast actually started just the beginning of this year, and it's anywhere that you listen to your podcast. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. There is also a video component, so you can go to Common Ground North Dakota YouTube channel. They're all on there. There's a lot of really great ones. I talk about corn. So if you're interested in hearing about corn, that's on there. There's soybeans. We've had conversations with folks who are raising wheat, sugar beets, cattle. So a lot of opportunities on there already. A lot of really great ones coming up. So if you have any questions about agriculture, go and listen to those. There's also a lot of really great opportunities to learn more at the Common Ground North Dakota website, or which is commongroundnorthdakota.com. Or find our Common Ground, which is the national website.
And speaking of podcasts, will ethanol be a part of any of your Common Ground podcasts?
Yeah,
has it been already?
It has not been already, but
Okay.
it is on the list. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
because a lot of people think ethanol is bad for engines and vehicles, so we can displace that myth too.
A whole nother list of myths that go on, regarding ethanol, and that's really unfortunate. And it dates back, back to the 1990s, and the ethanol of 1990 is completely different than the ethanol of 2023. And so The ethanol industry does a great work for the North Dakota farmers, but also it's great for the environment. I mean, it's a good product. It provides a higher source of octane that is needed for our engines, and so that's one of the myths that we are happy to tell and to talk about on a future episode.
Great.
Well, I want to ask you guys about the podcast. Is there any specific moment, guest, or show as a whole that has become your favorite or was the most fun to be a part of since starting the Common Grounds podcast? Either of you got a favorite moment or show?
Yeah, I mean, I really think they're also interesting. I grew up on a farm, and I still, I didn't know anything about sugar beets when I moved to North Dakota. That has been a really interesting episode for me to learn the difference in how the co-ops work with these farmers and how they have to harvest on shifts and get things to the pilers. And when the company says they're done, they're done. Some of those things I found were really interesting. Some of my other favorites, there was a 2-parter episode with Marcia Murphy, like Jean mentioned, from Cows & Co. Creamery, and her brother Pete, who works at Van Bedoff Dairy. And he focused on cattle and cattle care and the production of milk. They sell their product also to Cass Clay. And then she kind of focused in on that value added for their farm and bringing some of that profit back home again and making cheese and gelato. And they have an on-farm store and a cafe there. So that was a really interesting episode as well. And there's a lot of really exciting ones coming up. I'm looking forward to hearing more about oil seeds. There is going to be an episode with Sarah Lovis. She's an agronomist in Hillsboro, and she's going to be really interesting. I'm also really excited to hear about honey. I think honey is a very interesting topic as well. And North Dakota is one of the top producers, or is the top producer of honey in the nation. So I'm looking forward to that one as well.
We are number one in honey. And Justin, you might as well just go do that podcast with Sarah Levis, because when I'm not here and Dean's gone, she's my fill-in host. And so Justin and Sarah have their own little show going on.
Oh, yeah. Me and Sarah go way back.
Yeah, about a year.
Yeah, about a whole year. Well, guys, this has been really interesting, informative. I'm going to give you each a moment. Do you want like a last minute, anything that we didn't have time to get to that you'd want to just mention or say?
I think, what we really are looking for is more people to get involved. So we're looking for, farmers. If there's farmers that are listening and want to be involved in Common Ground North Dakota, you can reach us, as Heidie mentioned, on our website. Contact us, contact the phone number on there. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for people that want to tell their story, want to be involved. And that's what that's my call out is looking for volunteers, looking for more people to get involved.
I agree. I think we'd be remiss if we did not mention that the volunteers really are the heart of this program, and they have been truly what Common Ground is for many years. And if there are folks who are interested in being a volunteer or doing work in their communities to get the word out about agriculture, please do go to commongroundnorthdakota.com. There's a tag on there to get involved, and we would love to have you.
Awesome. And before we go, one last question. This just came to mind here. So with the volunteers that you have, you're always looking for farmers to tell the word and tell the truth. Are the majority of your volunteers, are they farmers, or do you need more farmers?
Yeah. The majority of our volunteers are farmers.
Okay.
Some of them may have, another job, like Bridgette.
Right.
And Marcia, of course, has another job. But it has been farmers. And farmers, the organization is built on farmers and farmers telling their story. And so, yeah, it's about farmers.
Okay. And one more time, the website?
Common Ground North Dakota, spelled all out, commongroundnorthdakota.com. And there's a tab on there called Get Involved. And like Jean said, they are farmers and they are statewide. We have Common Ground volunteers statewide, and you don't need to be interested in being on a podcast to be a volunteer. We have a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of programming statewide that we would love to have you be involved in.
Here's another one real quick, kind of feeding off of Dean's. Do you have to be a farmer or in agriculture to be involved or to learn more about it?
No, it's really not a requirement to be a volunteer. If you're somebody who is farm adjacent, if you're really interested in learning more, this would be a great opportunity even for your own education, and we would love to have you. Yeah.
See, so Justin schmucks like us, she says, yeah, we can. I think that's what she was getting at.
Yes, I would agree, Dean. Well, Gene, Heidi, this has been awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today on Weather and Ag in Focus. We got to catch up with a few sponsors when we come back. We got ag topics, a check on the forecast, and as always, any questions or comments you may have on that Red Wing Shoes phone line, 701-293-9000, or the studio emails. That's weather@flagfamily.com or ag@flagfamily.com. You can also utilize those chat boxes on Facebook and YouTube Live. Stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
Ty already got yelled at when he came in this morning.
Oh,
I'm like,
geez.
Ty, did you go look at leaves on Friday? He goes, yeah. I'm like, well, then why didn't you tell me they weren't very good yet? They were good. Gas money going to look at leaves. No, they're not.
Bonnie.
What?
They're leaves.
I know, but they're supposed to be pretty and red. The maples are not red yet.
It happens every year.
You don't like leaves?
They change. Yeah, that's cool. But I mean, I'm not going to drive somewhere to look at the leaves. I can walk over to the park and see them.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
Start spreading the news.
Announcing our 8th annual listener trip to New York City. Join me, Scott Henning, and my wife Maria, departing Tuesday, November 28th for New York City, the Big Apple. We'll stay at a Marriott hotel in a quiet Queens neighborhood. We'll see attractions like St. Patrick's Cathedral, Top of the Rock, the 70th floor of Rockefeller Center for spectacular views, Central Park, dine at Tavern on the Green, hop aboard a great harbor cruise, head for Fox News Channel for Fox and Friends, tour Ellis Island, Times Square, dine at Carmine's Italian Restaurant before you take in the famous Broadway production of Hamilton, take a guided tour of the 9/11 Museum, dinner at Trump Tower, and the Rockettes Christmas Spectacular at Radio City Music Hall. All before returning home on Saturday, December 2nd. Packages start at just $33.59 per person. Just go to WDAYRadioNow.com for details. WDAYRadioNow.com for details. Click the hot link tab and join us for this once-in-a-lifetime trip to New York City for the holidays.
The mission of Olivet Lutheran Church in Fargo is to tell the story of Jesus' love for all people without exception. Worship with us Sunday mornings at 8:30 at our traditional service, 10:30 at our contemporary service, or Wednesday evenings at 6 with a dinner before. We offer Sunday and Wednesday school for children pre-K through 5th grade and confirmation for students in grades 6 through 10. For more information, go to olivet.org. Encounter Jesus, experience grace at Olivet Lutheran Church.
Vengeance is coming. Terror at every turn. In a new breed of haunted house. American Monsters. Onion Head's Revenge. Only at Mall of America. Fear is here. See mallofamerica.com/American Monsters if you dare. Not for anyone with health concerns or under 10. But you're mine.
Medicare's open enrollment period is October 15th to December 7th. If you need help comparing your options, call Bell Insurance at 800-369-2501. Bell's health insurance agents can make sure you're in the right plan for 2024. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Currently, we represent 10 organizations which offer 50 products in your area. Contact Medicare.gov, 1-800-MEDICARE, or your local state health insurance program to get more information on all your options.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome to Weather and Ag.
Combination of button pressing there, Dean.
What's that? Well, we've got.
That was a good conglomeration.
So we got. And Screaming Goat, and I mean, we got a, we forgot the most important one. So.
That's my favorite one as usual.
The Fisher-Price barn.
So let's hit the forecast here because we really didn't go in depth on the forecast much at all. Outside of...
you said it was going downhill.
Oh, wait till Friday, buddy. Wait till Friday.
That sums it up pretty good.
Wait till Friday. We've got real fall weather heading our way. But today, not a bad day. We got temperatures right now, 64 degrees. And that will more than likely go up here into the upper 60s before the day is done with a west wind and plenty of sunshine. In Lakes Country, you're just starting to see those clouds break, and we'll see those clearing skies move from east or west to east throughout the afternoon. And with highs again, mid to upper 60s. And tonight we'll see chance of a few showers coming in towards sunrise as clouds increase. We've got another clipper system heading down from Saskatchewan, and that is going to drag down some much cooler weather, mid to upper 50s tomorrow, windy conditions. And as we head into Thursday night, we'll see a better chance for showers as even chillier air moves in, leading to highs on Friday only around 50 degrees. So that means we'll be in the 40s most of the day with a pretty stiff northwest wind. Pretty good chance of our first widespread frost by Saturday morning, assuming the winds are light enough. And then as we head into the rest of the weekend, chilly on Saturday, but light winds, highs in the mid to upper 50s, and then mid 60s on Sunday. And most of next week looks really pleasant with temperatures generally in the 60s. Might be able to squeak a 70 in there, but for the most part, dry and in the 60s, which is great harvest weather. So that's
going to be the best thing.
People agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. People really want to make sure that they're doing everything they can to get this crop off in the best time possible. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Have you heard anything from our beet growers out there, how they're doing? Because they probably started now, haven't they?
They've been trying to start. Right now we've had some temperatures that are warmer. In fact, as we've been talking, I had a Snapchat from Chad Wheeler who talked about the fact that he's got everything lined up and that they are ready to roll. If they aren't already going, they might just be waiting for their shift to start. But we had a couple of days there where they were just flat too warm for people to be able to do anything more than just sit and wait.
See, do you know what those temperature restraints are when it comes to beets? Because it can't be too cold, it can't be too hot, right? Or is there no bottom threshold? Is it really okay to rip it out whenever?
There is a bottom threshold when you get into freezing temperatures, when you would uncover that beet and then allow the possibility of the beet to freeze. That would be a downside. But right now, that hasn't necessarily been the case as of yet. We haven't had any of those hard freezes. But we do have to be cautious of what's going on when it comes to all those other temperatures out there. We can't get too warm. And I want to say once we get over, maybe, is it 75 degrees? I'm sure one of the beet growers is listening and they can send us a message to give us that top end. But they get regular updates from the sugar companies as to when they can or when they can't do their lifting, etc.
Now, Bridgette, you said you were going to bring a sugar beet in for us, right?
Yeah, we're going to.
I have to do that yet.
Person.
Shoot, Justin wasn't in studio yesterday, but I still have a chance to do that.
Well, not next week because I'm gone and Justin won't be in studio, so it'll have to be the week after that.
We can still make that work. Yep, I can get you guys a sugar beet.
16th through the 20th, somewhere in there.
Sure, that should be no problem.
Sure. Why don't we hit an egg topic here real quick? I'm going to try not to butcher this. It's banning glyphosate would increase global food prices. Glyphosate. All right. That was close enough.
So glyphosate.
Tell me about that. How is that going to affect global food prices?
It's an active ingredient herbicide. It's the number one active ingredient used globally. And without using it, because we do have folks who are concerned about whether or not we use too much, etc. Bottom line is there have been over 1,900 studies that have been done that scientifically prove that glyphosate has no more carcinogenic effects than those who are heavy coffee drinkers. And so glyphosate, what we do with it as a contact herbicide, we use it for a lot of weed control in multiple crops across the globe. When we do that herbicide, folks are worried, could there be residual, that type of thing. If we don't have, there's not, number one, that's a myth. There's not the residual. Number two, if we don't have that herbicide, it will increase our input costs on our herbicides. It will also change what happens for us when it comes to how we actually use products in the environment. Then we wouldn't have a replacement for it anytime soon. We'd really have to work hard at changing over to something new, and we're just not prepared to do that yet. So it would really drive up our food prices right now if that were to change. That would happen. So
they're not high enough.
shift.
Yeah, they're high enough.
So let's not plan for that to happen, shall we? That would be terrible.
Nah, definitely won't. And that's going to wrap it up for us on the show today. Appreciate everyone chiming in on the comment boxes and the emails. We're back tomorrow, 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Number 1 in the afternoons, the Jay Thomas Show will be coming up next. Enjoy the rest of the funk.